Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Each week, we're going to talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're lamenting that supersonic air travel isn't a thing, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Well, that must mean that it's time to bring in our hypersonic howler monkey. Some say he has the world's largest collection of O-rings. And others say he enjoys drawing chalk outlines as a form of artistic expression. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hello, my friends. How you doing tonight?
Oh, quite well, quite well.
Excellent. Yes, I have been told many times that I am on the artistic spectrum. And I appreciate that kind of support from my friends. That's excellent.
You're very welcome.
Oh, thank you.
But chalk outlines, that's kind of getting creepy. You got to cut that out.
That's the right time of year.
Oh, yeah. Never
For
mind.
creepy.
Well, tonight, as those astute viewers who are joining us here might have picked up on, we've got a fourth person in the virtual studio tonight. Hello, it's Sven Blackhawker from HQ, and he's going to talk to us tonight about GIFF 2019. Sven, how you doing, my friend?
Evening, everybody. Doing good. Thanks for having me.
We're delighted to have you here tonight. So we're going to get into that topic with you guys in just a little bit. But before we do, we want to throw out a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this show coming each and every week. And a special thanks to Land Sharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. And guess what?
Oh, tell me what?
There's a new promotion from our friends at Land Sharks. And,
Ooh.
you know, listeners, you're going to hear about it first, right here, right now. So the deal is, here's the deal. For orders over $25, not including tax or shipping, Land Sharks is going to toss in a free cache maintenance kit. When you complete your order on landsharks.ca, put the phrase "maintain me" into the notes field, and they'll take care of the rest.
No way. They would do that?
They will totally do that. So there you
What
go.
guys? Because it's important to maintain your geocaches.
It's
It
cache
sure
maintenance
is.
You know the secret phrase, and you don't even need your little Orphan Annie decoder ring.
time. No, just maintain me when you place your order of $25 or more. All right. Well, you know, and if you want to know more about supporting this show, click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website. And that's all I have to say about that for now.
That's right. And you know what? We want your glows. It's the time of year. It's getting dark. We need more brightness in our lives. We need glows. Geocaching logs of the week, I mean. So whether you wrote it or whether you read it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can call in to 253-693-TFTC. You know, you could email or do a recording right there on your phone. Email that to feedback@cachingandw.com. Of course, you have the voicemail tool on the website. Use all those things and show us how you glow.
That's right. And this week's glow was written by a cacher, L.E. Saxon, but it was submitted by our very own Land Monkey. That howling, what did they say it was? Hypersonic howler monkey. That's the guy.
Yeah, I need to earn my glow badge.
So this is, you submitted this on one of your very own caches, and that's totally allowed. It was Smileys for Everyone, GC59EVH. It's a founded log from L.E. Saxon on a cache in Vancouver, BC. Go figure. Land Monkey says this cache seems to be popular with visitors, and I think I've finally found out why. You may want to remove the children from the room until after the glow segment. I don't think it has anything to do with Soapy Boy either this time.
Not this time.
So here, I'll read it. I'll read what you submitted, and then we can chat about it. It says, together we were the team going HQ 2019, so we also signed the logboeken. The journey took us back to Seattle, Vancouver, the Nevada desert, and Salt Lake City. Today, the Amtrak went to Vancouver. It was a beautiful trip along the coast. In Vancouver, we looked at the city and searched for various caches. Thank you for laying and grooming, for fondling, and TFTC.
Ah, yes.
I always appreciate being thanked for those things. I thought that was very considerate.
Just to be completely open, honest, and transparent, as I always am, I have never done any of those things to Land Monkey.
You have thanked me for a cache. But the other three things you
The
have.
thanking,
No,
yes. The thanking
I think I'm revoking that for that last one now.
So Sven's joining us tonight. Now, Sven, you are a German speaker.
Hmm. And that last particular sentence is just, let's say Google Translate apparently doesn't handle it very well.
Vielen Dank.
Usually it would say something, vielen Dank fürs Legen, Hegen und Pflegen.
The log says, vielen Dank fürs Legen und Pflegen, fürs Herlocken und TFTC.
Yeah, so Legen is just putting out the cache. Hegen and Pflegen is maintaining it, which Google thought grooming a cache. I mean, I always bring a comb with me when caching.
Sure.
I don't know about you guys, but
Grooming a cache is not that far from maintaining it.
And
right.
That's the part I figured. I kind of made the mental jump that must be what that is. But the fondling one, I was a little lost on.
I thought maybe
Yeah.
it was shipping and handling.
Yeah.
Yeah, the log says, fürs Herlocken. Entschuldigung, mein Deutsch ist schlecht.
Fürs Herlocken is more like for luring us out here, which doesn't sound much better, honestly, but for bringing us here, essentially.
Okay, there you go.
That's part of the grooming part.
Yeah, a couple logs later
Right.
on the cache page, it says Danke and then owner fürs Legen und Pflegen. But then the cacher's name is Schmerzbefreit, which Google Translate means pain relief.
Yeah. We actually had this this group in the office the other week. So they travel Seattle, they travel up to Vancouver, and then they go to Nevada, and with a German travel group that specializes in creating trips for people to fill the 2000 and 2001 months of the JASMA grid. Nice. And that's a yearly reoccurring trip. So I think this is my third iteration that I had with the different travel groups, and the going HQ thing is always the standard thing. So if you find a sticker in your logbook that says something about going HQ, it's probably from one of those groups.
Very cool. Yeah, so that's the tour group that Joshua went with last year, I think, right? They always go this time of year.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well,
here we put in anything from the chat.
What do you have?
That Kumiko says fondling can make an FTF sound so much more fun.
That's awesome. Too much fun.
And GeoNav Pro says they hit a few of my caches.
Okay. There you go. Awesome. And yeah, so hey, if you are like the Komikino and GeoNav Pros, if you are watching live tonight and you have some questions or thoughts for Sven that you want to throw in there, use hashtag GIFF, hashtag GIFF, and our chat lackey will make sure he grabs those comments and throws them in for us so we can speak to them speak to them as the show is going.
This is the right time to use the blah blah blah
blah blah.
Show that into conversation.
I never say that.
oh, sorry. If you want to blah blah blah, join the chat tonight.
Yeah,
exactly.
Throw in the hashtag GIF into the chat. If you want to add to the conversation for a little later, use the hashtag FATAS. Toss that in.
There you go. Hey, well, let's cover a little bit of geocaching news before we really get down to things tonight. We're going to talk, this news item is about lists. There have been some updates and upgrades. There's differences there. To lists. Now, if you're not aware, lists are a premium member feature available in the app, the geocaching app, and on geocaching.com. So they're great if you're planning a hike with friends or even planning your dream vacation, maybe on one of those German groups to go to HQ. Wherever you go in geocaching, lists can help you stay organized, and they're created on the geocaching app automatically. They sync with your lists on geocaching.com back and forth, so it works really well. But there's a new list hub, right, Land Monkey?
Yes.
What else is in there? You can locate your view list. What's that? Did I
Sorry,
catch
I was busy chatting with somebody, so
Ah,
I'm now going to pay attention because I heard my name.
I just threw the chalk and fobbed Land Monkey in the virtual classroom there.
Yes, absolutely. You can locate and view your list favorites, ignored caches by using the navigation on the top of the new list hub. You can easily select key actions such as share, create, pocket query, and map for each list. View the number of caches you found in each list, which that's kind of cool. View the number of caches that you found per list. That's just neat. Create a pocket query when viewing another user's list. Ooh, that's handy for a geocache road trip planning.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else? And select the default page size. I think they've always had that, but that's cool. Pointing that out, that you can either have 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, or 500 lists per page. So that's
10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or more.
there you go.
No, that's different.
That was Baron von Richthofen.
Oh, that's right.
Richthofen.
Very cool. Yeah. So we've got all that stuff going on. And yeah, I
Well,
think
I mean, you know, the ability to create a pocket query when viewing another user's list is great for cache machines
yes.
and other things like that.
Oh,
You
there
can
you go,
grab
yeah.
that quickly and go. You know, viewing the number of caches that you found in each list is great if you're using caches for Delorem map pages or list, I'm sorry, for Delorem map pages like I am, or any other thing. You can quickly see, hey, look, I'm 73% of the way through this. So
That's a passing score.
There's
yay!
another pretty cool feature that I would like to point out is, so it's not just the list hub that was redone, but it's also the list details view. So the list hub is your list of lists, right? And then once you click into a list, some new features were introduced there as well. In the past, you could already copy a list, right? But only the list as a whole. But what you can actually do now is you can select a certain number of caches and only copy a certain number of caches to a different list. So you can pick and choose from within one list to add it to a different one, say for challenge cache bookkeeping or the DeLong
Right.
planning, like Chris was mentioning.
Nice.
That is a cool feature. I like that.
These features and changes and updates and upgrades are so exciting. I can't imagine there are any negative comments anywhere in geocaching about it. So let's move on to what else is there to talk about tonight?
Well, and to prove your point, Trexer
Yes.
Hero says the new list view is superb.
It's Super B. That's awesome. Yeah.
Super B.
Super B.
Wasn't that a Chrysler product?
That's in
know.
B210? No.
It's a very small superhero.
Was a Dodge
It was a Dodge, yes.
It's a Dodge. There you go.
Mopa.
The German will correct you about your American muscle cars.
Exactly. And there's also new favorites. So you go to your list, there's a tab to jump over to favorites. You can easily find favorites in the navigation control. You can now copy and share your favorites with the addition of the action bar and multi-select control. See the total number of favorites and the found date in 2 newly added columns. I'm a big fan of columns.
Yeah.
And premium members, your total available favorite points, as well as the number of logs required to receive the next favorite point, is displayed.
Okay. So some new features around favorites now. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
much
up until now, favorites were kind of buried, right? The only way to really see what all caches you had favorited at some point, it was either you would keep a bookmark list of it yourself, or you could see them as this giant non-actionable list on your profile page. So now you can actually do something with it, and you can check what caches other people thought were cool, and get inspired to maybe find some of them yourself.
Excellent.
I can't say it now.
Incommunicado.
Incommunicado says the new progress bar is pretty sweet. The new list progress bar is pretty
I
sweet.
believe that's Komakino.
Komakino. I just had an immediate block when I saw it. I tried to read it and say it at the same time, and
I was going to read it, but it was more fun to just sit here and watch you squirm.
my brain doesn't work that way.
It's so much more fun to sit here and watch him squirm and then just throw other words in and see what he does.
Yeah.
You know what?
What's up, Chris?
Friends.
Oh, we are.
Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad I don't have enemies here. Whew, that would really be awkward. Hey, guys, I'm going to let you in on a secret tonight.
What?
Yeah.
There's some big news coming from Lookout Lisa at cache-advance.com. So stay tuned for the after show.
The after show.
That one. And Lisa's going to join us live to make her announcement.
Very cool.
Sweet.
Okay, this is a day before you're going to get it in the email.
So we got all kinds of stuff going on tonight.
Yeah.
We had a brand new promotion from the Land Sharks. We got some news coming from Lookout Lisa a little later, a little teaser in there, and
Yeah.
we've had some German translation already going on during this show.
Man, so sit back for the next 4 fun-filled hours and
I was just going to say we've had enough. We can just call it today. Call it right now. We're done. We've done enough show for tonight.
Well, before we
Well,
do
you
that,
said you wanted to do the rest of the show in German, right?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
We're now going to switch over, and Jim and Sven will take over, and Chris and I'll go have a nap.
Sprechen kein Deutsch.
yeah.
There you go. All right.
all I know.
So
Yeah, genau.
as
I
we
remember
said
when I was
earlier,
in Germany, a dog understood more German than me, and it just wasn't right.
my favorite book growing up, my favorite German book, Mein Hund lernt 100 Wörter, which was more than I ever learned. So
What's your favorite German song? Pop song?
well, I mean,
99 Red Balloons, right?
no, but that's the go-to because it's the only one anybody knows.
Exactly.
I'm going to go with Rock Me Amadeus, the Deutsch version.
Mhm.
Der Kommissar.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, let's switch over to Sven, or as he's known in geocaching circles, Black Hawk Gare. Is it Black Hawk Gare?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard Black Hawk Germany. That's usually what I refer to it as. Black Hawker is fine.
Excellent.
So, speaking of that name, and for those of our listeners who may not have had the pleasure of meeting you, perhaps at a gas station attached to a coffee shop late at night, we'd love to learn a bit more about you. Can you tell us about that caching name, where you got it, how you came to choose that name?
So back in the day, which sounds funny just saying that, but in my late teens, I was actually playing computer games professionally, and the username that I retained from those days was Blackhawk with 4s instead of the A's, because at some point every username was taken, and you kind of had to become a little more creative, and so you started replacing letters with numbers. But of course, Blackhawk just by itself was taken when I actually created my account by somebody that I think to this day has found a total of 2 caches or so. But no dice of getting that name in any way. So once I moved to the States from Germany, I decided to kind of pay tribute to my roots a little bit and added the GER for Germany to the end of it.
Nice. So, Sven, you're telling us, and this is something we've all thought, so I'm just going to toss it out there for the entire geocaching community. Even though you work at HQ, you can't kick somebody out and take their name?
No, we can't do that. If an account has any fines on it, it's gone, right? If an account was created 10 years ago and the player hasn't logged in 10 years and the account doesn't have any fines on it, that might be a slightly different story. But as soon as an account has a fine on it, then that goes. So it's locked down. Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, we've all thought it. I just had to voice it. Okay.
Got to play by the rules as well. We might be sitting behind the desks that help do the behind the scenes stuff, but we got to stick to our own rules and guidelines, right?
I like that. That sounds fair. That sounds just. And you've been caching for a while. What is your favorite cache type to find?
Man, that's a tough question. They all have something to them, honestly. If I had to pick one, probably a multi-cache, honestly. And that might sound odd because sometimes it feels like a lot of work to do for that one smiley, right? But I personally love library caches. I thoroughly enjoy those, and especially when traveling, there's oftentimes multis that are just quick and easy, but there's also a sort of city tour multi, so you get to do that while you're finding other caches along the route. You get a city tour out of it, and at the end of the day, oftentimes multis, because they're found more rarely and people in generally put more effort into them, it seems like, than your average traditional, for example. You are usually rewarded with a really fun final for all the work you've put in.
Very cool. Some good reasons there. And I also love library caches and seek them out on road trips. Often I find they're mysteries, but you're right. Sometimes they've been multis as well.
Yeah, the lines are oftentimes a little blurry between what's a mystery and what's multi.
Yeah.
So.
I like multis as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, one last get to know you question, Sven.
Sure.
If you could go geocaching anywhere in the world, where would it be?
That depends on what I'm going for, honestly. If I'd be caching with the intention of having nature to check out, I would probably stay in the Pacific Northwest, just because with the mountains around and with all the amazing viewpoints, it's pretty hard to beat. And I like to take out Jeep off-road and explore all the remote Forest Service roads, which you can do here, but which, for example, you can't do in Germany. All Forest Service roads are locked down and only open to foresters and hunters in Germany. So a lot more restrictions there. But then if I'm going for gadget caches, even though we are lucky to have people like Team Nortex, Bounce, and Goblin Dust in the area here, the number or the density of gadget caches and just insanely good setups where people have rented out whole houses and turned them into escape rooms that are caches, and that sort of thing. If you want to find caches like that, you got to go to Germany. So,
wow, that's definitely selling it to me. That's amazing.
Shall we go next week?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sven,
there's always caching season in Germany, so it's never too late.
Sven just came back. He wouldn't mind turning around and taking us with him.
Sure, no problem. Yeah,
I probably have to ask my wife about that.
I guess there's that. Yeah.
I think I do too.
Long been on my bucket list to go over there. Someday. And we had already had one GIF statement from Komikino. It said, "Choosy cachers choose GIF," which I think leads us probably right into our segue for our topic of the night. That's right. The topic of tonight is the GIFF 2019. And Sven, we understand you're the lackey at the helm of GIFF 2019. How did you earn that title? And maybe there was some arm wrestling involved. Did you lose a bet, or did you just seek it out?
I actually had to purchase the rights to lead GIF this year. No, just kidding. So the past 2 years, I was already supporting the GIF project when Aaron was still leading it. and Aaron's responsibilities within the company changed a little bit this year. And so after we both kicked it off together early in 2019, once those changes happened, I decided to continue it, and now have been joined by a couple of my colleagues helping out, especially Delaney, or on Cloud Divine, as some folks might know her, who's helping with the social side of things, and also Martin, Snowstorm MK, who's been helping me with vetting all the GIFF events, for example, and then other various people throughout the company that are helping out with stuff here and there.
You know, I had forgotten that the GIF events actually had to be vetted. You can't just throw one and say, good luck, we're all going to go there. And yeah, that's right. That's not an easy process.
So, of course, it starts a lot earlier than this, right? We're now sort of in the finishing touches and in the end stages. In fact, to the people that had already submitted their GIF films, I sent out the GIF film reel today, so that they can do all their setup and get it to the movie theaters, or check that all the subtitles are working and that sort of thing. But I expect emails coming in the next couple of days when people notice that their event still isn't on the official list, and that's probably because they didn't fill out the web form. So if your event is not on the list yet, you might want to check that web form that's on the Geocaching International Film Festival website, which is geocachingfilmfestival.com, and fill it out as soon as possible so we can get you the film to show.
That sounds like really good, important advice.
Right now. If you're listening to this podcast and you haven't done that yet, go ahead and hit pause. We won't be offended. Make sure you get that form filled out. Okay, Sven, I want to ask you one more question about the GIF reel. And this is something we hadn't discussed earlier, but you just mentioned that, you know, you send it out and they're going to get it to the movie theaters and that. So this has to be a very high quality video, because if you're going to display it on a huge screen, I mean, most of these I've seen in, you know, let's say a 10-foot screen, but if you're going to go to a movie theater, well, like the headquarters event has it on quite a large screen and it looks great. How do you get it may not be you personally, but how does geocaching.com get all these videos of various qualities and frame rates and frequencies together into one reel to put out?
So we have great help and have had great help in the past years, and we've been using the same cutter and editor for the last couple of years. And Reed is her name. She's been doing a phenomenal job to kind of bring all the different submissions that, like you say, may have very different audio qualities or video qualities, sort of on one level where you don't have any massive jumps in volume, that kind of stuff. And then at the end of the day, we render them as MP4s and as .mov files. And for the movie theaters, oftentimes they actually require a file format called DCP, which we have other volunteers that love GIF and that happen to work at movie theaters help us out with in creating that file. And so if your event requires this DCP file, you have to specifically request it, because it's a 22 gigabyte file, and two people would just create tons of traffic that we're trying to avoid otherwise.
That is a big file.
That's a big, very well said. I'm actually interested in the technical details behind the scenes. But, you know, as we've watched the GIF reels in the past, I mean, they go from video to video to video, and it's just very clean and consistent. And you sit back and you go, oh, this is a nice one. Oh, I like that. And you're not distracted by audio or video differences. So
yeah, that was a really good question, Chris.
Really well done.
Yeah. So kudos.
And I like
you.
to think that. Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
And I like to think that we're carefully selecting who's going to make the final film reel. I mean, it goes through different iterations. I'm not making that choice by myself. I luckily have a whole company to fall back on to make that decision with me. And one thing to say for sure is that over the years, the average quality of the submissions has improved significantly. So looking at the 54 submissions that we had total this year, out of which we selected 16 for the final film reel, there really weren't any bad submissions amongst those anymore. They were all really high quality for being quote unquote a amateur film festival.
Wow. So I guess it's getting harder and harder to choose the 16.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
As you're mentioning the films that or the number of films that made the cut, I noticed we had a comment earlier today from Gio Elmo, who has one of the films apparently that made the cut, and he was just saying he was passing on the message to all of our listeners to make sure you get out to a GIFF event and enjoy yourself. So there you go. Next question, Sven, for you. What regions did the submissions come from this year? Oh,
We had the
there
submissions
he is. Okay.
coming from, of course, you have a lot of them from the US, you have a lot of them from Canada, other English-speaking countries like New Zealand and Australia, some of them from the UK. But what has been really fun, especially this year, is that we also have various European countries, big and small, and especially the smaller ones that you wouldn't maybe necessarily have on your radar, created and contributed some movies that ultimately now ended up making the final reel and sort of bring their countries and their communities on the geocaching map and on people's radar for places to maybe go and cache as well.
All right. Now, GIFF has been going for a few years, as we've talked about. Are there any trends or themes that you and the team have noticed in the past few years?
One thing I already touched on a little bit was definitely the increase in quality of the submissions. So that's definitely been a theme of sorts, if you want to say. Otherwise, the themes that are pictured in the clips themselves have changed for sure. Early on, we had a lot of content about the competitive aspects of the game, so FTF hunts or that sort of thing. And now it has really shifted to being more about the locations that geocaching takes you to, or what geocaching means to you personally, but also showcasing and highlighting in a humorous way the fun, weird, wacky things that we all think are perfectly normal these days. But when outsiders see us do them, kind of like raising their eyebrows, like, what's wrong with those people? So the are not taking so seriously, and I think that's really a refresh.
Nice. Well, Sven, you're breaking up just a little bit, but we wanted to go on. We've had this asked by Lookout Lisa in the chat, and it fits in with what we want to ask next. If someone wanted to get a submission in and try to get into that select 16, the top 16 that are going to be released for next year, and we assume there's going to be a next year, what are the key elements for them to focus on in their film?
Well, first of all, sorry for the technical difficulties. Our internet over here tends to be a bit jumpy, so apparently with high usage hours now, it's off and on a little bit. But to make the cut, first of all, most important thing, your video has to meet the guidelines in order for it to be considered in the first place. So if you're showing caches, make sure that the caches that you're showing actually meet the guidelines. Do you want to show that maybe that one cache is super cool, but maybe it's buried and there was clearly no permission granted for that? Probably not a good idea to use that one for your GIF film. Same for stuff that's nailed into trees or that kind of stuff. So be mindful of what you're showing, because these clips, of course, act as a precedent of sorts. Otherwise, being shown in the movies, if you have something that sort of just is shown for a second and off focus, it's probably fine. But if somebody's wearing a branded T-shirt or jacket and it's on screen for literally the whole movie, we can't allow that. So keep it plain and simple in terms of your clothing to avoid pitfalls like that. And otherwise, keep it relatable, really, is probably the biggest piece of advice. GIF movies are more fun when people watch them and are thinking, right, I know exactly what that feels like, or I've done that. And that's what people are looking for as well when they're watching the movies in the theaters at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's
very,
some great
very
pro
good.
tips. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So moving on to our next question we have for you, Sven. We would love to know, and MC3 Cats is asking a very similar question again. You guys in the chat are always so on topic and tuned in with us. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Sven, the question is, what has been your all-time favorite GIF submission?
That's a tough question, because all of these submissions, it's really an honor that people want to spend their free time and their creative energy to submit these movies in the first place. So if I could give all of them a prize, I would. My all-time favorite submission, I'm not sure I could pin it down to one in particular, but I mentioned that the ones that don't take themselves too seriously and sort of look at things with a wink and kind of put a mirror up and say, like, you see what you're doing there sometimes? That's probably my favorites. And there was a very good one that did that last year. That was very humorous. And there's going to be at least one in this year's film reel that also has a good sense of humor to it again as well, without giving too much away.
Okay. So that one might be your favorite this year?
It's definitely amongst my favorites for sure, yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, now that's a great teaser. We're all looking forward to seeing the GIF film reel.
Yeah, we all come up with lists of favorites and try to rank them. And we voted for them in the past. Is there going to be any kind of public voting this year to determine the favorites?
There is. So we're going to do a similar system like we did last year. So stay tuned for an announcement to be posted on all official GIF event pages. And that is going to have a link to it in it for a SurveyMonkey survey where people can, after watching the films, cast their public vote for their favorite. And we're going to evaluate the results of that. And that's then going to be released once we also announce the Signal Award, which is the award given out by the reviewers after judging the final 16 films.
Nice. I love it. Now, would you remind us one more time when these GIF events are supposed to take place?
So this is another special thing that we are doing this year. So in the past, it's always been one weekend and one weekend only. So we got a lot of feedback from the community that if something came up that weekend, then sort of the window was closed. So this year, the GIF time frame is actually longer, and it's from November 7th to November 17th. So that covers 2 weekends and, of course, the days around it. So hopefully that will give people more opportunity to join the GIFF fun all around the world.
That's really nice. I like that idea of covering 2 weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Now,
We have, go ahead.
I was going to say, we've got great questions from our live chat. Thank you so much for all of our live listeners. And we love the questions that you pop in. So Sven, are you ready? These are going to come out of left field. You never know where a question's going to come from. Here's one that MC3 Cats wants to know. He asked, what's the story behind the GIF gnome? How did the gnome get picked as the GIF mascot?
So I think the gnomes made their first appearance, I want to say 3 years ago, when we had the subject, or where we provided the theme actually, and that was the art of geocaching. And we at the time were looking for artwork that would be artsy yet cute. And that's how the GIF gnomes came to be. And that year, actually, we had people dress up as GIF gnomes for the internal Halloween party, which is coming up as well. So maybe that's going to make a repeat this year. You never know. But yeah, that's kind of where the gnomes came from.
Nice. So MC3 Cats isn't done yet. He's got another question. Yes. Mm-hmm. Would HQ ever release the submissions that did not make the cut for geocachers to see?
It's interesting that Chris is asking that, because there has been, we're thinking about ways to, of course, also bring more attention to the B lines, essentially. Mm-hmm. And it's not gonna be possible this year, just because the idea came up relatively late in the process. And but it's definitely something that's on the list for potential opportunities of how to expand GIF, or growth opportunities, and how to make it more elaborate. That being said, some of the submissions that didn't make the final cut also didn't make the final cut because they didn't meet the guidelines. So we would still have to vet what would eventually be shown in the B lines to some extent.
You have to buy the DVD and get the bonus features.
You'd be surprised. I had people ask me again this year whether they could get the GIF film reel instead of as a digital download, like we do. We'll get it as a DVD. So not a VHS tape anymore, but DVDs are still around.
Can I get it on laser disc?
Do you have that?
I can offer you 35 millimeter film if you want.
Hey,
classic.
Nice. Well, Sven, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I mean, I really like this inside look into what HQ is doing, not only with GIF, but with lists and how they're working to improve the game at every turn possible. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Now, we will do what we call the after show. You're welcome to stay tuned and stay on with us. If you have to leave, we completely understand that as well.
I think I'll stick around for another couple of minutes.
Oh, he's a glutton for punishment.
He is. Sven, thanks for joining us tonight. It has been awesome talking GIF with you, and appreciate the fact that you even came in uniform for that. So that's fantastic.
I just noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the official GIF uniform on there with gnomes.
With gnomes, yeah. I like the gnomes.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
There's no place like his shirt there. But most of all, we want to thank our listeners for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed this episode of GIFing in the Northwest. Next week is Halloween. It's a creepy time of year. And we're going to talk about caching in creepy places with JT Coffee.
Who's not creepy at all.
Well, no.
She's the ape queen.
She is.
Yeah. And then a couple weeks later, you just can never be sure when winter starts, especially on caching in the Northwest. And to be prepared, we're going to talk about caching smart in winter with Adventure Smart on November 14th.
Oh, I love that. That's a deep cut. Not only a deep cut in the sense of a reference to a previous episode that listeners hopefully caught there, Jim, but also a bit of a deep cut against Chris of the Northwest, which is awesome. So,
I don't know what you mean.
I'm glad I have friends like you.
who needs enemies?
Not
That's awesome. But yes, we definitely have some really cool shows coming up, with some great guests. And again, a reminder for listeners: if you've got ideas for topics that you'd love to have us cover on this podcast, make sure to send us a message on social media or email or whatever, and we'd love to hear from you what you want to hear covered, and we'll see what we can do to help you out with that.
Yeah, catch us at events, stalk us on our latest cache finds and come after us and meet us out in the field. No, that's just for the wits end of the land monkey. Stalk them. They deserve it.
All right. But, in the meantime, while you're getting ready to stalk us, we want to take a moment to thank the Land Sharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online or go in person and visit their store in Victoria, British Columbia. They are open 6 days a week except holidays and will ship your orders online daily. And of course, we want to remind you that our faithful Denali level supporters help to make this show possible. That's Land Sharks, JP's Geo Designs, Limax, Team Squirrel, and WorldCaching.com. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting the show, click that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website, and you would then have the torment of having us read your name.
Like these fine folks: Broncos fan for life,
And Sprouter,
Camp Clan,
Tick Magnet,
Kev MacD,
Subaway Mark,
Dora Moore,
Dune Buddy,
Kid, Vegas 19,
Geo Nav Pros,
Winos, Seattle,
Ackerdoc,
Billy Robson,
Genies,
Antaeus,
Keats 94, welcome home,
Trexer Zero,
MC3 Cats,
Kennel Barb,
M Nerve,
Wet Coaster, and Greenwords,
Sege Hove,
Alarobic,
the keepers of the cash flow,
Highlands Guy,
The Geo Travelers,
Boomer 365,
GSM times 2,
Kitty Quest,
just squeeze that one in. T Sayer,
Seebeck Tribe,
CRS 98.
and B Pendragon.
Thank you to all of those sponsors and patrons and
You
supporters.
all are fabulous.
We are fabulous. Well, until next week, there's the after show first. But before we get into that, if people want to reach out and get in touch with any of you fine folks, and even maybe me, there's got to be some way to do that. Sven, we'll throw it to our guest first. How would you like people to get in touch with you if they have questions about GIFF or being a lackey or a German-speaking reviewer meeting you might have heard about?
Well, the most relevant for this episode is probably GIFF, and we actually have an own email address for GIFF, and that is gif@geocaching.com. So GIFF@geocaching.com, and all emails sent to that address will ultimately end up in my inbox, and I'll be happy to answer any GIFF-related questions that you might have that way. And otherwise, you can always send me a message via Message Center. But I will say, if it is any sort of customer service related question, my colleagues are probably better equipped to answer those. So just contact us via our help center if anything comes up that way.
All right. And you're the geocaching Blackhawk user with only 2 finds, right?
That's me.
Land Monkey, where would we find you?
Well, you can find us Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. Not so much anymore Periscope, but definitely Twitter and Instagram at LandMonkeyGC. Also Facebook, Team Land Monkey, and on YouTube, LANMONKEY, Land Monkey on YouTube.
Hey, you just made me realize I haven't even thought of Periscope in quite a while. Is this still a thing?
It's still
I
a
suppose
thing
it
that
is.
doesn't get a lot of use.
Isn't the Periscope going down now?
Yes,
Down
Yeah,
Periscope down.
Downscope.
Wits End, my friend. Where do people find you?
Twitter, Facebook, Geocaching Message Center. Those are the best places. And just pop in here on Thursday night. I try to come in as much as I can. Chris of the Northwest, what season is it and what's your handle?
I have no idea what season it is.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't matter. You could be listening to this anytime. The season is unimportant. What's important is to get out and get geocaching. And Wits End, I'm glad you're here.
Okay.
You can find me on Twitter and Facebook. Both of those are Caching NW. Instagram, I had to spell the whole thing out. It's Caching in the Northwest. Better yet, head on over to cachingnw.com/host. We got some bios there nobody cares about. But the links to all the social media we just mentioned are right there. You don't have to worry about spelling a thing. You just click. But folks, we want to thank you most of all for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget, you can be part of the show. In fact, we showed you how you can be part of the show tonight just by joining in the live chat. But there's more. You can call into 253-693-TFTC, leave us a comment, ask us a question, or fly us across the pond any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click on the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe. Perhaps on iTunes, maybe Google Play, there's Stitcher, and even more. Give us a thumbs up, or better yet, a review. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2019 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
Now,
We did it.
we
I'm
did.
tired now after all that.
Hold on. I'll be right back. Now, we promised
The After Show
was going to be special this evening.
Oh, and it is.
And it is. It's special every evening. But we have an added guest,
It's specialer.
the most specialist. And we're bringing in our very special guest. Look out, Lisa, from
Hey.
Fans.
Welcome. I think she's still muted. Hang on. Can you?
Yeah, Lisa,
I
you have,
muted myself.
There
Sorry.
you are.
There we go.
I'm back. Hey, enjoyed the show. Thank you so much.
thank you. I mean, Sven is a great guest. We're just, trained monkeys. Well, at least one of us.
Yep.
Oh, one trained monkey. So
Mostly.
yeah, we're hosting a. I pronounce them GIFF. So we're hosting a GIFF again this year. I think it's our third year in a row here in Spokane, and it's an official one. So thank you for that. We just got our links to our files to download.
Yay.
All of these. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Did you get the high quality one?
I'm not going theater style, but
Okay. 22
thanks for discussing.
gigabytes. Yeah.
But the regular one, yeah, it shows really well. We've got a great, well, actually, thanks to the WSGA, we have a projector here on the side of the state that we can use for the films. Yeah,
Oh, that WSGA. They're nice people.
they are. Well, hey, it wouldn't be a show without a cat sighting, right?
All right.
That's Hilo. So, gosh, thanks, guys, for letting me crash your show tonight or the very end of your show. What I wanted to do was talk about some exciting news that we've got coming up with the cache crates. So, as some of you may have seen, we've recently updated our, oops, let me slide this way a little bit, our box for the cache crates that goes out every month. So it's not just a plain craft box anymore. It's a pretty fun, well-designed box that actually Chris Mackey designed.
Nice.
Yeah. It's been really fun working with him. We've been discussing different ideas for some time, and he's really quick. I shouldn't say some time, but this has just been in the works for some time. And we finally got the final boxes a couple of weeks ago, and I think we've shipped two shipments now with the new boxes that everybody's been getting. And so we're doing a lot of things with the cache crates. We actually have 3 different subscriptions. So we've got the cache crate, which is the monthly subscription here. We've got the Cashkins Club, which are the tags, like these little guys. And they go out on the first of the month, every month, a different cash can. The cash crates go out middle of the month, every month. And then we have a hero crate, which is much bigger. And that one goes out quarterly, every solstice or equinox. It is that subscription. So as many of you guys may know, we've been doing these for over 4 years, actually, been shipping out the goods. And we've always let anybody join us whenever they'd like to, and then work them into the next shipping window so they can, become a member. But I've decided that in order to serve everybody better and to give myself a little more margin to be more creative and really up my game on the cash crates, we're going to be closing the subscription to new members on Halloween for the rest of the year. We'll probably open it up again midwinter. But at that point, it's looking like the price might have to go up at that point. So for anyone that wants to get in now, this is your opportunity between now and Halloween, the 31st, which is a week from today. And tomorrow morning is actually the start of our push to let everybody know that, because we've had lots of people have interest or have, dipped their toes in and got a few months or a gift subscription for a month or two. But this is your chance to get in, and you're not going to be able to after Halloween. We're closing the doors. We're not going to let anybody else subscribe. Might do, if we have extra space and extra availability or spots, do a couple of gift subscriptions for the holidays coming up. But at this point, I'm not really sure. The interest has been pretty great, so I think we might top out. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. That's what we're going to be doing for the first time ever, is closing the doors on the cash crates. So I can really focus on doing the best that I can for curating and being more creative, most creative for our existing members. So I've got a special that I wanted to announce as well. So for the next 36 hours, if anybody's interested, wanting to sign up, you can actually get 20% off your subscription. And so that coupon code is early bird, one word, early bird. I'm going to put some things in the chat here real quick.
I got that, Lisa.
Oh, great. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. So now we've got in there. So that would be when you're going through the checkout, you would just put in that coupon code and it'll automatically take 20% off your first invoice. So if you sign up to go monthly, that'll be 20% off your first month. If you sign up annually, that's 20% off the entire year.
Ooh.
Right. And that would be for any of the 3 subscriptions, either the cash crates, the Cashkins Club, which is just the Cashkins every month, and then or the Hero Crate, which goes out quarterly. So that's a big deal. Nobody else knows about this, so I'm announcing that tonight here on your show about this special 36-hour early bird special to get in, and that's going away Saturday midday. And but the cart will still stay open through the 31st, and we'll have a couple other specials sprinkled throughout the week, working our way up to Halloween, but nothing as big as this one. So 20% off. So questions.
Lisa, thank you for taking the time to share that with us and our listeners. You guys got the code early bird for that 20% off in the next 36 hours.
Yeah.
So great.
There you go. Very cool. Actually, I have a question for you, Lisa.
Yeah.
The cash crates and the hero crates, are the hero crates the same thing that's in the cash crates plus more, or are they completely different contents?
Completely different contents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's actually a much bigger box. We didn't have a special box designed for the cash crates yet. I may look into that next season. But it's always bigger things and more expensive. It is a higher, like a VIP level. It's $150 per quarter. So that's 4 times a year. And it's well over to pushing $300 value of what we ship.
Wow.
And the reason I started the hero crates, I actually started it sometime after I was doing the regular cash crates. It's because in looking for really cool things to send out to my members, I would find things that would just blow my budget. Here's something that's $50, which, way goes out over the budget for the cash crates. Or it's just too large, too big to send in a big box. And not everybody would want something that, substantial. So yes, it's completely different things. Occasionally I can work it in where it's just a bigger, better version of something that all the members get in the regular cash crate that month. I might do, a coin that all the cash crate members get, but the hero crates, we get the full set of coins.
Oh, wow.
One thing we were able to do is pretty exciting. The start of the fall, I believe it was the fall. No, it was actually summer. It was the summer hero crate. We were able to pull together enough of the 2004 GeoCoin. It was the third GeoCoin ever made of the USA GeoCoin, unactivated. So all of my heroes got one of those. Wow. And that's something I can't do for hundreds and hundreds of crate members. So it's unique, bigger, better things that go in the hero crate.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Lisa, this is a good problem to have, that you've almost got too many of your cash crates going out that you have to limit and focus, and so good deal.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to growing. So we want to welcome more members into we call ourselves the Cash Crate Crew, for the members of the cash crates. And this should be a pretty exciting week by getting more folks in, and we'll see where we're at, and then, we'll grow.
Yep, exactly. Excuse me. Yes, exactly.
He's all choked up.
I know. I'm all choked up about it. This is your last opportunity if you want to do this as a gift for that geocaching loved one in your life. And you do.
We make great gifts. We spend a lot, or send a lot to other geocachers that have signed up somebody as a special gift, or just to make them feel better. Who doesn't love getting something in the mail that's not a bill?
Yeah.
It's something special just for you.
You mean the mail can do other things?
Yeah.
Besides bills?
Yeah.
You can get a box that's not ticking.
Oh my.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, thank you for that. We've got other great FATAST items to talk about. I want to start with Greenwords, who says there's a great series in Toronto, booking it at all the libraries. Some traditional, some multis, some unknowns.
There you go, Sven. You got to get to Toronto.
Yeah.
Booking my flights right now.
He's booking it right now.
In Toronto. I missed it.
Oh, you didn't find any of those, Lisa?
No, well, we didn't have a car, so we stayed really close to our hotel. We did find quite a few virtuals, though, in the area.
Very cool.
Nice. GeoNav Pros asked, what are the monkeys doing this weekend?
I don't know why GeoNav Pros is asking that, because GeoNav Pros knows what the monkeys are doing this weekend. GeoNav Pros are joining the monkeys and a few of our other epic friends for a #geocache road trip up into the interior of British Columbia. A little camping, a little caching, a little hanging around by the campfire at night. So. And a little monkey business, I'm sure. Yes.
Yes.
Nice. Awesome. Well, speaking of the land monkeys,
yes,
we have some audio from the land monkeys. Let's see how this is going to play for us.
Trexer Zero. The sound of a Cito at work. I'm here with Trexer Zero. How are you doing, buddy?
It's good. It's muddy. It is absolutely muddy. That's for sure.
That's right. What are we doing here?
We're planting some wetlands. Some Cito today.
Yeah, and we're in Aldergrove Park, which is just a stone's throw from the home of GeoWoodstock 18 next summer. So I don't think we'll have much time to go check anything out there today. I think we're all looking forward to the pizza.
It's going to be good. It's been ordered.
It's been ordered, and we're going to get ready. So I'm going to call it a field recording here for sure. It's kind of like half the usual usual audience of Caching the Northwest out here volunteering.
North of the border, anyway.
So thank you, Trexler, for your volunteering.
I don't know if you could hear that, but apparently they were doing a CITO, but they were really looking for the pizza.
We were really looking forward to the pizza, that's for sure. And yeah, probably about half our audience tonight were actually at that CITO event. And it was, the field recording didn't turn out very well. It played back better on the phone. So I'm wondering if it recorded multi-channel. But anyways, it was muddy. Oh boy, were we up to our knees in mud, digging holes and planting new plants, creating a wetland, where in an area that has become a park that once was an old farmer's field.
It sounds like it already was a wetland.
Oh yes, it was. Yeah, so we got out, did our CITO, had a lot of fun, hung out with a whole bunch of listeners to the podcast and other friends.
So let's see. Have we started the next CITO season? Or is this the last? Is next week the start of the CITO season?
No, why don't we ask our resident
you're already within the second season, and I think so the seasons this year were longer. I think the official dates are on the geocaching blog. Let me see. But the second season is definitely in full swing already.
I'm looking at the artwork and I don't see the date on it. Okay. Oh, here we go. CITO season 1 includes all of March, April, and May. So
I think the second season is October, November, December, maybe.
September, October, November, maybe? I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah,
I'd have to Google it as well. Don't know from the top of my head. Oh, here we go. CITO season 2 starts on September 1st and goes through November 30th.
Okay.
Well, that's a pretty long season, so lots of time for people to get their souvenirs. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, there's still time to actually create an event and get out there.
I really like the CITO seasons.
Yes.
Stretching that out over 3 months, because again, if much like you've done with GIFF, if you miss it one weekend, it could be over.
Yeah, part of it was that we got community feedback that in certain areas, actually, that there wasn't a lot of opportunity to host CITO events in the old time frames because it was still nesting season and certain areas were off limits and that kind of stuff. And this so people in Australia and New Zealand and Africa have more participate in the CITO season as well.
I don't get
hard.
it
It is a global game. So back to the field recording I had sent in there, Dora Moore, who was also volunteering at the event, said, I missed the best sounds. And I was trying to record the sounds of our boots and shovels going in and out of the lots of sticky mud, as Kev MacD says. Yes, lots of boots stuck in the mud. I think Kev MacD actually helped extricate one of the workers from the mud.
Oh, there's nothing worse than getting that boot stuck in the mud and then you're, teetering on just one foot trying to, land your foot back into that boot, knowing that once you're in there, you're not going anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah. And Lisa, you asked a question, can we still get a souvenir by attending a CITO? So yeah, I guess until November 30th.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And yeah, so lots of people happy about the extension.
Yvonne says, especially in the earlier option of September, since we could have snow in early October.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
true.
because I think they're over close to Calgary there in Alberta.
Is that the actual sound, Land Monkey?
Yep, pretty close.
Oh boy. One cacher had to stand in empty plant pots while her boots were being rescued.
It's different than
Okay.
standing in pot plants.
Yeah,
That's true.
which also happens in British Columbia and Washington.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
is it much different anymore? Let's see. Keats 94. We're sorry, Keats. You're still suffering from jet lag from Cape Breton.
Sven's got you beat.
Yeah, that's true.
I can relate.
You had Easter, more Easter than you did.
Yeah.
I'm happy to report I managed to find cash 11,000
Yeah, just get back
and
from your-
mystery cash 1,000. Great people and great caching on the East Coast. Also, great beer.
Mm,
I think Sven may have him beat there too.
I think so.
Very cool.
Oh, let's
We
see.
went to France a lot for food, so we got more wine than beer. But yeah,
Mm.
Oh,
Not too shabby.
it's not a bad thing. Northern France, or yeah, that would be the German border. Yeah.
the Alsace area, so Flammkuchen and wine with that.
So Sven, you're
But
just
yeah.
not getting.
I still
a
haven't
lot
been
of
to the East
sympathy
Coast,
here.
so his stories make me excited.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not getting a lot of sympathy for your jet lag, Sven. The more you tell us
Sorry.
about the French
That's
food
fine.
and the German beer.
Yeah, he still
The
had
things
French
we do, you know.
Yeah, it's a tough life.
the sacrifices he makes for geocaching.
What you got, Chris?
I was going to say Monkey Cakes wants to know what my shirt says.
What does your shirt say?
My shirt says, let's see, which way do I go?
The other way.
That way.
I love it when my wife lets me go geocaching.
Nice.
But from a distance, it just says, I love my wife.
Clever.
Yeah, a very clever couple gave me this shirt.
Ah. Very cute. That's awesome.
Okay, so we've got some questions here. I know we're running late, but let's see if we can get through this quickly.
Okay.
Starcacher says, I had an uneasy feeling situation this afternoon with a new cacher with 0 finds, could not find one of my caches. After an hour search, they wanted me to call them. I did and found out it was an early teen boy and his best friend, another young boy. I tried to tell him where to look. He asked if I could meet them there and help him find it. I set a time and got there just as they were riding up on their bikes. I gave them some geocache seeking advice. After a couple of minutes, they found the cache in the pocket of the end of a guardrail. So I was there, a gray, bearded, older man, kneeling on the ground in an isolated neighborhood park with 2 teens as we went through the contents of a large pill bottle on the ground. Nothing suspicious looking there.
Not at all.
Well, first of all, Start Cacher, good job reaching out to new cachers. But at the same time, you know, that could be a good GIFF film for next year of, you know, how to reach out to new cachers because it's an awkward situation.
There you go.
Gentlemen, lady, what do you think?
With respect to Start Cacher's situation?
Yes.
Well, I think he did all the right things. I don't know. Maybe the one other thing I would have suggested to the boys when I met them was maybe don't call strangers to come and meet you in an abandoned park off the internet. But you know, other than that,
Yeah.
little life coaching opportunity perhaps. But good job on being a good guy and helping them out for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Brylang says, take a friend with you.
Yeah, and apparently he did. Well, the boy did anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Stargazer did, but
I agree. I know I've been called a couple of times from some of the local gentlemen to go with them to a park to help them find a cache if they know that there's going to be a lot of kids there. They're uncomfortable being a single man looking around at a park. So, you know, having a woman go with them, it makes it easier.
Yeah, I can definitely second Lisa's story. I've left, especially small parks with playgrounds and a bunch of families playing at the end of a workday on numerous occasions because I didn't want to be.
Yeah,
That's
didn't
the
want
kids
that
are playing.
guy.
didn't want
Right.
to creep the
Right,
guy.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's so much has changed. Kev MacD says, "Gone are the days when we didn't talk to strangers or get in their car. Now we have Uber."
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, don't talk to people on the internet, and definitely don't get in the cars with anyone. So.
Touche. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, folks, thank you so much. All the people in the chat. I think we've had nearly a record number tonight. Thank you, Chat Lackey, for your help. Sven and Lisa, this has been a full show. It's going to be hard
My
next
pleasure.
week to come up with anything to keep up with this. But until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.